friends, I'm Nana and I welcome you all on Dhoom channel. This week I will going to share with you a special episode that is based on street art. Now I'm going to share with you a documentary which is based on one of the most vibrant artistry existing in Melbourne, street art.
My name is Jeff Kavanagh. I live and work near the city. Often I see this, tagging. I really disliked it and saw it everywhere. One day I realised I was looking at the wrong thing. I missed the art. Street art, that is. The more art I saw, the more I loved it. I find it inspiring, colourful and creative. I decided to query the Melbourne Council about their views.
I'm Jennifer Canis, a councillor at the City of Melbourne, and my portfolio area includes arts and culture. We have 27 designated street art sites within the municipality. We support street art and we think that it adds vibrancy to the city. You just need to go and visit some of our laneways and see how they've really been transformed by some of the art that's in there. We have, I guess, what's called a zero tolerance approach to tagging within the municipality. We spend about $1 million a year cleaning, tagging off the buildings and streets.
One day I discovered the Sweet Streets Festival of Street and Urban Art and attended the many artistic events.
Hi, my name's Tessa Yee and I was the curator for the Sweet Streets Festival here in Melbourne. This was a festival of streets and urban arts, and I curated the award show. This show was, I guess, kind of about bringing some of the elements of street art into the gallery, which has happened a lot these days in Melbourne. A lot of the street artists who are working on the street also have gallery representation. But also, obviously, I wanted to also have that kind of strong element and, I guess, philosophy of street art, which is about, art that's on the street and therefore free for everyone to see, because they're using their own materials and just using the urban landscape as their canvas and not selling their works.
Some galleries, such as Brunswick Gallery and others, are now taking the street artist's valuable work as well.
I studied as a graphic designer. I was doing graffiti back then, like after high school. I got into animation because I always like animals and characters, creating my own characters. I wanted them to evolve, and animation gave me that capability. But after that, when I came to Melbourne to do my degree, I kind of got lost interest in the technical side of animation and wanted to explore more of the artistic side of what I do. So I just started painting on canvases, trying different stuff, like trying paint. I was always using the spray can. Yeah, I paint a lot of characters. Right now I've been doing a lot of landscape though, studying the background of what my characters live in, their home, stuff like that. Yeah, I build my little world around what I do. Yeah, I see it as a new wave of art. People want to do stuff outside the community rather than based in galleries. You do it outside in the street, so it's kind of like free art. You don't have to go to a gallery, pay money. You can have it there. It's for everybody to see, Well, many street artists come from different backgrounds. Again, it's just like, this is art. I see it as art, Every artist has their own capability in doing what they do. Although it's so far away from the rest of the world, like Australia in general, but we still have like awesome art going around.
There are a lot of colours to be shared on this episode of Dhoom channel, so I'll see you after the break.
Pop going with their hat sideways, yeah, it's just like a really interesting environment.
Well, I think street art is beautiful.
I think
Hi, I'm 80 from Blender Studios. I used to do the street art back in the early 80s and sort of moved into more of a surreal fine art technique, I suppose, after sort of growing up doing all the street art. I didn't go to art school or anything like that, so I sort of developed everything from working on the streets. Probably about 6 months ago I got the opportunity to come into Blender, which was really good because it's heavily focused on street art, but yet there's still fine artists and that type of stuff in here. But it helps to sort of, I suppose, develop as an artist.
Hi, my name's Haha. I'm a stencil artist. I got into stenciling on the streets about like 2000. I used to see this guy Sam. He had stencils everywhere around the city, and that kind of inspired me to like totally get into it. At this point of time, I do a lot of multi-layered stencils. Like I started off with one-layer stencils, now I'm doing like 40 or 50. I like a lot of political stuff. A lot of political stencils, especially ones that like run down America or the government. Like back in the day, there was heaps of like anti-American stuff.
There is a close-knit community of street artists who are excellent. A community hidden away amongst a bustling city. After viewing many works on the street art tour, I had to ask myself, what is street art? I learnt that street art is a mixture of artistic styles and mediums such as spray can, stencil, sculpture, culture jamming, yarn bombing, to name a few. Having evolved in the 80s hip-hop era and inspired from America and Europe. The street art movement is large in Melbourne, and with Blender Studios and Everfresh at the forefront.
There's a friend of mine who's just coming from Brisbane. He's an illustrator by trade. He's done this. He really wanted to paint on the wall, but he's not really a spray paint user, so you can see he's sort of done it with pens and acrylic. And I guess like as far as tags go, the reason I would tag is because you like writing, you like drawing, and you like to see different styles. Take that pen for a walk, so whether you're writing on a wall or writing it in a book or writing it with friends, you're sort of sketching and tracing out a design. And I think these sort of nerds in the corner with their Nico pens, and these guys wearing they got the bling and the boombox and the hip hop going with their hat sideways. Yeah, it's just like a really interesting environment.
Well, I think street art is beautiful.
I think that street art is a great way for people to express themselves in a public environment without having to host in a gallery or something like that. So people that don't have a name for themselves get a chance to display their work, provided it's done in a tactful and way that is acceptable to general public. Then I think bring it on.
I love street art. I think it's a fantastic thing. Look how it's just brightened up our dreary old streets. Banksy, the likes of people like Banksy, just awesome stuff.
Yeah, look, I mean, you only just have to look and see the busloads of people getting out with their cameras to have a look. Melbourne's world-renowned for its street art, as I think it should be.
The world of colors and creativity is still waiting to unleash. Catch you after the break.
So when I moved here to Melbourne, I saw a lot of tagging in the streets, and I didn't really like the tagging.
Hi friends, we are having with us Jeff, and he is the maker of this beautiful piece of work, the one which you have just seen. Welcome Jeff to our show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
That's really good. Jeff, I had few questions about the beautiful documentary which you have done on street art. My very first question is, from where you get the idea of making a documentary on street art?
Well, it comes from being inspired by the art that I see quite regularly around the city.
Okay.
I'm a non-practicing artist myself, but I've had to put my own art aspirations on hold because of career.
Okay.
But I still appreciate other people's art, and so as a result, I like to go out and see other people's pieces of artwork and galleries and so on. But I didn't realise that we had such great artists here in Melbourne, and I actually discovered street art just by accident, really.
Okay.
Because what had happened, when I moved here to Melbourne, I saw a lot of tagging in the streets, and I didn't really like the tagging, but I was too busy looking at the tagging, and I didn't realise the wonderful piece of artwork behind, just next to it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, I'd love to check out more of the street art. So I explored all the various laneways in Melbourne: Hosiers Lane, Croft Avenue, ACDC Lane, Union Lane, and many other laneways in Brunswick, Fitzroy, and I got very inspired. I love their work, and I thought to myself, I'd love to record this. Then I decided to put together a project about street art and present it to firstly to the university course which I was doing at the time.
Okay.
And because I was given a project that I had to work on about a subject which was close to my heart.
All right.
So I thought, well, street art, naturally.
Wow. Okay.
So I thought, well, just go for it and get out there and shoot some good video.
That's really good because you get out of your house and on the street you get such a beautiful concept to bring in notice to everyone. So while working on the project, what are the troubles you faced?
Well, several challenges is the quality of light, particularly in some of the laneways. Some laneways don't see a lot of adequate light. But the getting the imagery, sometimes the images are so large that you can't get them in a still photograph. You've got to actually video it. Like in a large pan. So trying to capture all the large size of the pieces of artwork can be challenging. But probably the most challenging thing is the audio.
All right.
Getting high quality audio from the centre of the city in the laneways is challenging. And some of the people which I interviewed, just trying to get good quality sound from the people that I interviewed was difficult, because one lady that I interviewed, she just very quiet voice, and I could hardly ever pick her up from the background noise. So audio was really the most challenging aspect of it. But also the other challenging aspect is editing. Because in the end I had about 2 to 3 hours of video which I had to try to edit down to, in this case, 10 minutes. And trying to work out, okay, what do I want to show, what do I need to cut out, what's high quality, what's low quality, what does the viewers, what do they want to see? I thought to myself, well, okay, this is really difficult because there's so many pieces of work which I want to show. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just keep it to the highlights.
Like apart from, you can say this is all are the kind of physical factors and the barriers which you faced at your level.
Yeah, that's right.
But there are few troubles or challenges which you really face at the part of getting the artist arranged and then asking them. So what were the situation for you at that time?
There's several aspects. There's trying to be at the right place in the right time, finding the venues, trying to meet up with the artists so that you can actually sit down and have a decent interview with them, and in a suitable environment as well. Because I found that some studio environments were difficult to do interviews. So finding, in some cases, you can find a good backdrop. And you might find a good backdrop, but it might be, we had a party in the alley next to us. So that interview unfortunately didn't work out because of the very loud party, and
you won't get the suitable environment to fix that one.
No. So as I said, arranging to meet it with the various artists, choosing the suitable artists for the interviews as well. But I was very fortunate because I went to an event called the Sweet Streets Festival of Urban and Street Art. And that was excellent because that gave me the opportunity to get access to some of the studios, get access to some of the street artists and various other artists as well. And plus that gave me the opportunity to get access to some of the galleries as well. Because some street artists actually present their work in galleries.
All right.
And so they don't all just paint on walls.
On the walls.
Yes, and some will sell their work in galleries as well. And so I went to certain events, special events, and I had arrangements in place that I was allowed to video at these events and show some of the artists' work and just show the gallery.
All right. Like you've been just telling me about the you can say a lucky part of the artist, they are getting enough opportunity to display their work in studios, but few of the street artists, they are not getting enough of the opportunities to present their work. Have you get a chance to met artists like them as well, who are, you can say, looking out for an opportunity, and you can say some kind of disappointed artist as well?
I do meet some of them, but a lot of those, the artists who aren't well known, they'll actually just go into the various places and alleys and so forth and just create their own pieces of artwork. Some with permission, and unfortunately on the odd occasion some don't get permission. But most artists, particularly if they're attached to a studio or a artist community, that they will actually do commissioned work and get paid for it or get subsidy for it in some way. And not only that, but they're supported by their artist community, and they stick to various guidelines so that they don't break the law, they don't break the rules. It's only a small few people or street artists who do break the rules. But generally they're very well supported, and admittedly there are some frustrated artists out there who can't get their work shown. But the really good artists do get their work shown, and they will actually get involved in various events, special events, and and gallery representation, so they can present the work in galleries or in some cases on the street.
All right.
And there's always some kind of special event around Australia where the artists get together and
The opportunity to present their work.
yeah, and they might do a whole building, do a massive mural somewhere.
Okay.
And there might be maybe a dozen artists involved. And I'm beginning to discover that that happens quite regularly.
Okay. So much close to the street art and street artist. What do you say about the cultural backgrounds and different ethnic things? Does they really affect street artists in performing their art, or it's something beyond your ethnicity, culture, and all that stuff?
It doesn't appear to have anything to do with actual ethnicity. In fact, the kind of art does actually vary depending on the person's ethnic background. I have noticed a particular style, say, from Indian artists. I've noticed a particular style from, say, Asian artists.
All right. Yeah.
European and American artists. They develop their own styles.
Okay.
And so, get them all together and they can, as I said, they can produce some wonderful pieces of work.
All right. So it's kind of bringing different designs, or you can say different creations all around the world and giving them an opportunity. Yeah. How do you feel about the government participation in uplifting the situation of street artists in Melbourne?
The government does have some support mechanisms for the arts community.
Okay.
But I'm not aware of anything specifically for street artists.
All right.
But there are avenues and projects available for artists in general.
Okay.
And as I said, there are organisations, there are artists' communities, and there's also galleries which support various artists, let alone street artists.
All right.
As I said, street artists tend to use a different canvas than those who have their work in galleries.
All right.
The canvas for street artists is this. It may be a wall or a building somewhere.
Yeah.
Either interior or exterior. And very often the artists who have their work in galleries are only constrained to a canvas only so big. So they've got a much larger canvas to work on.
All right, yeah. Thank you very much, Jeff. It's really nice to hear a lot about street artists from you, because otherwise most of the people like me and everyone, they're not aware of the situation and what are the things involved behind all the beautiful paintings around. So it's always good to know as much as possible. Thanks for your contribution. Thank you. It was our small effort to bring in front of you an artwork which is special, lying everywhere, but still need recognition. If you had any questions and queries, please feel free to mail us on our email ID. Catch you next week.